Hi everyone, my name is Caylene and welcome to my channel. If you're new to my channel, please consider hitting the like button and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed my tutorial. Every single like and subscribe means a lot to me and helps me to continue coming up with new projects to share with you every week. And in today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to crochet this unique little drawstring bag. These bubble stitches look like flower buds popping out everywhere, and it also has this delicate edging. And the bag is big enough to use as a little purse. It's easy to carry around. It's made by using a few strands of crochet thread together, and it's a lot easier than you might think. It feels just like working with any yarn, and I think it looks pretty neat. It doesn't look quite the same as using variegated yarn, and you also have fun mixing colors. So if you haven't tried yet, I recommend that you give it a try. So let's get started. For this project, I'm using 4 colors of size 10 crochet thread, and I'm using a 4.5mm hook, and you will also need your stitch markers, a yarn needle, a pair of scissors, and I recommend that you have your measuring tape, and you will also need leather strips to use as strings for your drawstring bag. You're going to begin by putting 4 strands of thread together. Then you're going to make a magic circle. If you're new to the magic circle, you can check out my other video in the description box below. And once you've made your magic circle, you will add in 2 more chains to make a chain of 3. That's 1 double crochet. And before I continue, I will put my stitch marker through the top of that chain. That's where we're going to be joining. Now moving on, I'm going to put 9 double crochets into my magic circle. So 9 double crochets. One, 2, and I think I've made 9 double crochets. Let me double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 9 double crochets. Now I'm going to pull that yarn tail. Which closes up my circle. Then I'm going to join at the top of that beginning chain 3. So join with a slip stitch. Now you will have a total of 10 stitches all the way around, including your beginning chain 3. Then, to start on your second round, you're going to chain 2. Now you're going to turn your work. Then you're going to put in 1 double crochet back into that same stitch that's the base of this chain 2. So 1 double crochet back into the same stitch. And that counts as 2 double crochets. And I'm going to put my stitch marker through the top of that beginning chain 2. That's where we're going to be joining. Now what you're going to do is you're going to put in 2 double crochets into every stitch all the way around. So in the following stitch, in this next stitch, you're going to put in 2 double crochets. So 1 and 2. Then 2 double crochets into the following stitch. And again 2 double crochets. And you're going to continue doing this all the way around. I'm nearly finished with my second round, and now I only have 1 stitch left. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my last 2 double crochets into that stitch. So 1 and 2. And then I will join with a slip stitch at the top of that chain 2. And there I've finished my second round, and you will have a total of 20 stitches all the way around, including your chain 2 in your second round. Now to get started on your third round, again you're going to chain 2. And again, you're going to turn your work. Now you're going to put in 1 double crochet back into the base of the chain. That's the same stitch. So 1 double crochet back into the same stitch. And again, I'm going to put my stitch marker through the top of that chain 2. Now for this third round, you're going to put in 2 double crochets into the same stitch in every other stitch. So in the next stitch, you're going to put in 1 double crochet. Then in the following stitch, you're going to put in 2 double crochets. Then in the next stitch, 1 double crochet. And 2 double crochets into the following stitch. And you will continue doing this all the way around. I've come to the end of round 3, and round 3 should end with 1 double crochet into the last stitch. So 1 double crochet into the last stitch. And as usual, you will join at the top of chain 2. And that closes off our third round, and you should have a total of 30 stitches all the way around, including your starting chain. Now we're going to begin our fourth round. Again, you're going to start with a chain of 2. So 1 and 2. And again, you're going to be turning your work. Then put in 1 double crochet back into the same stitch. Now in round 4, you're going to be doing 2 double crochets into the same stitch in every 3 stitches. So in your next 2 stitches, you're going to be putting in 1 double crochet. So 1 double crochet in this stitch, 1 double crochet into this stitch, then 2 double crochets into this stitch. So let's go ahead and continue. 1 double crochet, and 1 double crochet into the following stitch, then 2 double crochets into the next stitch, then in the next stitch, the next 2 stitches, you're going to put in 1 double crochet. So 1 double crochet and 1 double crochet in the next stitch. Then 2 double crochets into the following stitch. So the pattern goes 1 1 2 1 1 2 1 1 2, and you're going to repeat this all the way around. I'm almost finished with round 4, and I have 2 more stitches to go. And into these 2 last stitches, you should have 1 double crochet each. So 1 double crochet each into the last 2 stitches of round 4. And as usual, you will join with a slip stitch at the top of your beginning chain. And that finishes off our 4th round, and you should have a total of 40 stitches all the way around, including your starting chain. Now to start round 5 is the last round for our bag base. You're going to chain 2 and turn your work one last time, and put in 1 double crochet into the same stitch. And I'm going to put my stitch marker through the top of that chain. Now in the next 3 stitches, you will put in 1 double crochet. So 1 double crochet into the next 3 stitches. And then in the following stitch, you're going to put in 2 double crochets. Then again into the next 3 stitches, 1 double crochet each. One double crochet, and then 1 double crochet, and then 1 double crochet. Then again in the following stitch, 2 double crochets. So I think you see the pattern. In round 4, the pattern went 1 1 2 1 1 2 1 1 2, and in round 5 the pattern goes 1 1 1 2 1 1 1 2 1 1 1 2, and you will continue doing this all the way around, and you will join the round with a slip stitch into the top of your beginning chain. I've just finished off round 5 with 1 double crochet each into the last 3 stitches and joined with a slip stitch at the top of the beginning chain of 2. And that's the base of your bag. And by now you should have a total of 50 stitches all the way around, including your beginning chain of 2. And the base of my bag is 12 centimeters across. And before we continue, I'm going to get rid of the tail from the magic circle, and I'm going to weave that in. And I'm going to cut that off. And there we are, ready to continue. Now that we are finished with the base of our bag, let's begin crocheting up from the base. I'm going to call this round 1, and in this round we're going to do our bobble stitches. You begin this round by chaining 1, so chain 1, then put 1 single crochet back into the same stitch, so 1 single crochet back into the same stitch. Then I'm going to mark the top of that single crochet. That's where we're going to be joining at the end of the round. Now in the following 3 stitches, in the next 3 stitches, you will put 1 single crochet. So 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches. Now you should have 4 single crochets. Now in the next stitch, in this next stitch, you will do your first bobble stitch, and you do that by putting 4 double crochets together into the same stitch. So I'll show you how to do that. You will yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and you're going to yarn over and pull through only 2 loops. You should have 2 loops on your hook remaining. You're not going to finish that double crochet, but you're going to go ahead and do your second double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and again you're going to yarn over and pull through only 2 loops. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. Now going on to your third double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and again yarn over and pull through only 2 loops. And now you should have 4 loops on your hook. Now we want 4 double crochets into the same stitch, so I will go ahead and do my 4th double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, and yarn over and pull through only 2 loops. Now you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on your hook. Then you're going to yarn over and pull through all 5 loops. Now in the next stitch, you will put in 1 single crochet. Then if you use your finger to push out your group of 4 double crochets together, from behind, you'll see that it forms a ball of crochet thread. That's your first bubble stitch. Now you will go ahead and in the next 3 stitches you put in 1 single crochet. So 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches. So now you will have 4 single crochets, and in this next stitch again you're going to do your bubble stitch. So 4 double crochets together. So let's begin our next bubble stitch. 1 and 2, then 3, then 4. Five loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all 5 loops. Then a single crochet into the next stitch. And push it out, and you made your second bubble stitch. And again you will do 1 single crochet into the next 3 stitches. And again you will have 4 single crochets. So you will have 4 single crochets in between each bubble stitch, and you will repeat this all the way around, and I will see you at the end of this round. I've come to the end of my first round of bubble stitches, and I have 1 more stitch remaining. Into that last stitch I'm going to put in my last bubble stitch. Now I have 4 double crochets and 5 loops on my hook. Now I will pull through all 5 loops, and that finishes off my last bubble stitch. Now I'm going to join with a slip stitch into the top of the first single crochet. And I am finished with my first round, and you should finish your first round with a total of 10 bubble stitches all the way around. Now to begin your second round, you're going to chain 2. In this second round, you're going to be doing all double crochets all the way around. So this time, you're only going to be working into the back loop. So instead of inserting your hook under both loops like you would normally do, you will work only into the back loop of your stitches. So let's go ahead and begin making our first double crochet. So your first double crochet will go into the back loop of that first stitch. That's the base of your chain. And let's do a few more double crochets together. And before doing that, I'm going to put my stitch marker into the top of that first double crochet. Moving on to the next double crochet, working into the back loop only. And now when you get to your bobble stitch, you will work into the back loop on top of that bobble stitch. Now that we have done a few double crochets together, working only into the back loop, you can see that now there is a ridge over the top of your first row of single crochets and bobble stitches. Now you will continue doing this all the way around, and I will see you at the end of this round. I've come to the end of my second round, and I've put my last double crochet into the back loop at the top of the last bobble stitch in the round below. Now I will join with a slip stitch into the top of the first double crochet, and that finishes off our second round. And by now your work should look like a little bowl. Now to begin your third round, you're going to chain 1. In this round, we're going to do more bobble stitches. And similar to your second round, we're only going to be working into the back loop of your stitches. So to start off, you will put in 1 single crochet into the base of that chain. And that's the back loop of this stitch. So 1 single crochet into the back loop, and as usual I will put my stitch marker into the top of that stitch. And moving on, I will put in 1 more single crochet into the back loop of the next stitch. Now you will have 2 single crochets, and in the next stitch we will work our first bobble stitch, but this time in the back loop. So let's go ahead and make our first bobble stitch. And now I have 4 double crochets and 5 loops on my hook. I will pull through all 5 loops, and that's my first bobble stitch of the round. And moving on to the next stitch, 1 single crochet into the back loop. And we are done with our first bobble stitch. Now in the next 3 stitches, you will put in 1 single crochet into the back loop. So now you will have 4 single crochets following that first bobble stitch. And in the next stitch, you will do your next bobble stitch, working only in the back loop. I've made my next bobble stitch, and again in the following stitch, working in the back loop, 1 single crochet, and then 3 single crochets in the next 3 stitches. And because we worked only in the back loop, now you can see that you've made another ridge over the top of your previous round of double crochets. And you will continue doing this all the way around. So after your 4 single crochets, you will make your next bubble stitch, followed by 4 single crochets. And I will see you at the end of this round. I've come to the end of my 3rd round and I've made my 10th bubble stitch, followed by a single crochet. And now you should have 1 more stitch remaining. Into this stitch you will put in 1 single crochet. Then you will join with a slip stitch into the top of the first single crochet. And now you're finished with your 3rd round. To begin your 4th round, you will chain 2. Now your 4th round will be the same as your 2nd round. So you will be working into the back loop only with double crochets all the way around. So let's do a few together. So insert your hook into the same stitch and into the back loop. That's your first double crochet. And moving on, double crochet into the back loop of every stitch. Continue doing this all the way around and I will see you at the end of this round. I'm at the end of round 4. Now I will join with the slip stitch into the top of the first double crochet. Now let's begin round 5. To begin, chain 1. Now in round 5, you will repeat round 1. The only difference is that you will be working into the back loop of your stitches. So let's put 1 single crochet back into the same stitch and into the back loop. And I will put my stitch marker into the top of that stitch. Then do 3 more single crochets into the back loop. And now you have 4 single crochets. Then into the next stitch, you will do your first bobble stitch into the back loop. And single crochet into the back loop of the next stitch. Then 3 more single crochets into the back loop. Now you have 4 single crochets. Then again, a bubble stitch into the back loop. another single crochet into the back loop of the next stitch. So continue doing this all the way around, and I will see you at the end of this round. I'm at the end of round 5, and into that last stitch you're going to put in your 10th and last bobble stitch. Then join with a slip stitch into the top of the first single crochet. And there I am finished with round 5. Now round 6, you will be repeating round 2 and round 4. So you start off with a chain of 2, then a double crochet back into the same stitch and into the back loop. And a double crochet all the way around, working in the back loop only. And you will repeat this all the way around, and I will see you at the end of this round. I finished off round 6 and joined my round. Now we'll begin round 7. To begin, chain 2. Now starting from this round, we will stop working in the back loop. We will begin working into both loops. And in this round, you will put a double crochet into every single stitch all the way around. So first, put in 1 double crochet back into the same stitch, working into both loops. And continue double crocheting into every single stitch. And you will continue doing this all the way around and join with a slip stitch into the top of the first double crochet. Then you will repeat this round for 5 more rounds. And I will see you at the end of round 12. I'm back at the end of round 12, and this is how your work should look. So now you will have 7 rows of all double crochets. And now my work is 17 centimeters wide and about 18 centimeters high, laid flat. And you're almost finished with the body of your bag. We will do one more round, round 13, and in this round we will give this bag an edging, and we will be making the picot stitch in this round. So to get started, first I will finish off my 12th round. I have 1 more stitch to go. I will put in my last double crochet and join with a slip stitch into that first double crochet. And now I am ready to begin round 13. To begin, chain 3. Now to do that picot stitch, you will go back into the first chain and through the loop at the back of the chain and do a slip stitch. And that is your first picot. And in the next 2 stitches you will do a slip stitch. So slip stitch into the next 2 stitches. And again chain 3. and slip stitch into the first chain. And slip stitch into the next 2 stitches. Again, chain 3. Slip stitch into the first chain. Then slip stitch into the next 2 stitches. And you do your next picot. Chain 3, slip stitch into the first chain, and slip stitch into the next 2 stitches. So repeat this all the way around and we will finish off this round together. I've worked my way to my last picot, so I will go ahead and do that last picot. Then I will slip stitch into the next stitch. Then do my last slip stitch into the base of that first picot. And that finishes off our final round. And you should have a total of 25 cute little picots. Now to finish off, you will chain 1. Now you cut off about 7 or 8 centimeters away from your hook. And you will weave that in. To weave it under my top row of double crochets. Think you've gone far enough, you can go ahead and cut off the ends. And you are finished with the body of your bag. Let's begin weaving in the strings for this drawstring bag. I've cut out 2 leather strips and they are 52 centimeters long. I'm going to weave 1 strip in from the right and the other from the left. And as you can see, I've already marked the place where I'm going to be weaving them in. And that's in the 2nd row of double crochets counting from the top. And these 2 stitch markers are 25 double crochets apart. So let's get started and weave in our first strip. Using your yarn needle, you will insert your needle underneath the first 2 double crochets and over the next 3 double crochets and under the next 3 double crochets. So you're just going to go over, under, and also making sure that your needle doesn't get caught in one of the strands of thread. So over, under, over, under. You'll also want to pull as you go, otherwise things will be more difficult for you later. Over, under, over, under. And I have one double crochet in between, and I will remove my needle and adjust to make sure that the ends are the same length. And now I'm finished weaving in my first strip. To begin weaving in my second strip, I'm going to insert my needle into the other side. So let me remove my stitch marker. And you also want to pay attention to your other strip. If your other strip went over, you're going to also go over. So, like before, you're going to go over, under, and I am finished weaving in my second strip. Now I will adjust so that the length are the same. also checking to make sure that the strips aren't twisted. And when they are about the same length, you will pull just a little and tie a knot on both ends. And there you are finished. And just to show you, I'm going to put my ball of thread inside to give this bag some shape. And there you are. You are finished. Thank you for crocheting along with me, and again, please consider hitting the like button and subscribe to my channel, and let's crochet together again every week.